Marley, Kayden here in Chicago alongside Sam Vadas at the New York Stock Exchange. We'll close out today's extended show with some final thoughts on the session. Of course, we've talked about Nvidia and Palo Alto, but we also have some more clarity on the missing data that we'll be getting and when we might be getting it since the government shutdown ended. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says it will not release a full U.S. jobs report for the month of October. The agency says that October payroll data will be released along with the full report for November and will not include an unemployment rate for the month as the data could not be collected. The agency also pushed back the November jobs data release to December 16th from December 5th, which means it will now come out after the December Fed meeting instead of a few days prior to it. The delayed September non-farm payrolls report is scheduled to be released tomorrow. Also, the administration's goal to reduce its dependence on China for rare earth imports took another step forward today. MP Materials, the Department of Defense, and Saudi mining company Ma'aden signed a binding agreement to develop a rare earth refinery in Saudi Arabia. MP and the Pentagon will hold a 49% stake in the joint venture. MP is also reportedly holding talks on a possible collaboration to stand up magnet manufacturing in Saudi Arabia as well. Shares of the company closed up more than 8.5% today. Sam, what stuck out to you on today's session?
Well, you couldn't ignore some of the moves that we saw in cryptocurrencies. I mean, Bitcoin falling back below 90K today. Suffice to say, it did make up for some of the losses, and we ended at around 90,000 for the day. But a lot of attention today on the fact that investors actually pulled more than $500 million from BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, which was the biggest single-day outflow for the fund ever. Bitcoin is down nearly 30% from that record high that we saw back in October of levels of over 126,000. Now, the cryptocurrency has been coming off ever since then as investors continue to see their leverage positions get liquidated. Bitcoin Treasury Company strategy, which we obviously track very closely, down over 10% in trade today, and it's fallen nearly 40% year to date. So that's really what caught my eye today as we continue to see this pullback in the crypto space. But heading into tomorrow, what will you be looking out for, Marley?
Walmart's earnings are top of mind for me tomorrow. The street expecting EPS of about 61 cents on revenue of $177.14 billion. Same-store sales expected to be up more than 3% as well for the quarter. Now, this report is very important because Walmart's a bellwether. They give us more insight into the consumer spending trends as well. And we have gotten some mixed commentary from some of the retail earnings that we've seen so far this season. Walmart also uniquely positioned in this space as it gets about 60% of its sales from essentials like groceries. So seeing the numbers, the breakdowns there will give us more details on how significantly consumer spending is shifting from discretionary to non-discretionary purchases. Also, really interesting fact I came across today for Walmart. If the consensus estimate is met for this quarter, Walmart will print its first trailing 12-month revenue north of $700 billion. That would mean that Walmart's revenue represents about 2.1% of the entire U.S. GDP, as the U.S. economy is roughly $33 trillion in size, Sam, just for some scale on how big and important Walmart is.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so important to put it into context there, particularly given some of the trends we've been hearing, and particularly off the back of what we heard from Target, TJX, and Home Depot, Lowe's as well. So that's going to be a fascinating report. But yes, as we've been mentioning, I'm going to be watching, obviously, like we all will be, this reaction to this Nvidia report card. As we mentioned, we did see a double beat, margins in line, a beat on the data centers, the guidance was better. So this was a very, very good report. Whether it's going to be enough is the big question to offset some of the concerns out there around this circularity of financing, around some of the AI valuations, or whether we are in for a bit of a correction when it comes to some of these technology stocks as well, and also around some of the depreciation that has been highlighted in the market as well. Now, obviously, we're going to get the first snapshot of the market reaction just in a couple of hours when Asia gets up and running. And this is obviously important because, Marley, you do have the SK Hynixes of the world, the Samsungs, areas where Jensen Huang has recently been to cut deals with, partnerships. These are suppliers to Nvidia. So really, this is going to have ripple effects globally. So we're going to be watching certainly the reaction to this. But that's why it's called the Pied Piper. We're going to be watching the trickle-down effect all tomorrow.
Yeah, we will see it. For every dollar that Nvidia moves, it's roughly 3 points on the S&P. So it will be a very interesting day to watch tomorrow on the heels of that. Right now, Nvidia up almost 4% on the heels of their better than expected beat and raise quarter. That is going to do it for us on this extended edition of Market on Close.